Hola, ¿qué tal amigos de Café con Ellas? En esta ocasión nos encontramos en el Jardín Japonés junto al Zoológico de San Antonio. Nos venimos a platicar con una compañía, Uprooted Gardens. Ellos se encargan de hacer jardines comestibles y también paisajismo. Y parece que van a estar remodelando algo en el Jinju House. Vamos a platicar con ellos. Pero antes, un poco de historia, ya que la del Jardín del Té japonés data de más de 90 años. En su momento fue un yacimiento de piedra, pero al haberse agotado este recurso natural por su explotación, terminó como un terreno abandonado y vandalizado. Al paso de los años y con diferentes responsables, se fueron haciendo modificaciones, proyectándose un complejo que incluiría pasillos, puentes de arco de piedra, una isla y un pabellón japonés con plantas exóticas, proporcionadas por el vivero de la ciudad, al igual que la compañía de servicios públicos donaría el sistema de iluminación. Al paso de los años, la Fundación de Parque de San Antonio completó la rehabilitación de infraestructura, incluyendo caminos, tuberías, filtración, reparación de paredes y sellado de estanques. En el 2008 alcanza las remodelaciones que ves hoy en día. Cuenta con un exuberante jardín abierto durante todo el año, una pantalla floral con pasillos sombreados, puentes de piedra, una cascada de 60 pies de altura y estanques llenos de koi. Hoy en día es uno de los recursos más queridos, educativos y culturales en San Antonio, visitado tanto por locales como turistas, quienes lo usamos como escenario para fotografía o rodajes, locación de eventos sociales o simplemente para excursiones o caminatas al aire libre, admirando así el diseño de su paisaje. Y ahora bien, después de este recorrido, regresamos con nuestros amigos de Uprooted Gardens, quienes tienen como proyecto iniciar un jardín comestible para la casa Jinju.
I wanted to create a culinary tea garden because everybody that comes up here says, "Oh, do you grow your own teas?" And I always kind of have to say, embarrassingly, no. And then I thought, well, there's no reason why we shouldn't be making our own teas on a daily basis. Of course, we're not going to make all of our teas in-house, but I think it is an important concept because at least me personally, I make teas out of my backyard every morning.
Of course.
So like this morning, I had a dandelion root tea that I had with the fresh loquat leaves, those leaves, which of course now the loquat's in season, but those leaves are deciduous, so they're available all year long.
Wow.
And those leaves, when you boil them, not only are they incredibly medicinal, but they produce this beautiful amber colored tea. So you wouldn't believe it, but those leaves produce something that looks exactly like amber. It's this beautiful, like orange pink color.
How beautiful.
So I took a couple leaves this morning, for instance, from my lime trees, and I just kind of like gently massaged them, you know,
Smells really good.
and then added my loquat leaf tea, and that's what I drink in the mornings. And at the end of the day, they're medicinal, and it I don't know, I just think it's a different energy when you can go into your garden, you can pick something fresh and you eat it. It's just, it tastes different. It gives you a different energy transfer. It's just different. To do is one of the reasons I wanted to focus on this area right here was because it is one of the entrances going up to the park.
Yes.
And it's kind of like this forgotten about corner. It's really sad. So I thought this could actually become perhaps even another venue,
Of course.
for weddings, but it could also be a wonderful place where we do regular workshops on teaching people and empowering people how to make your own tea garden.
You know, a lot of
Exactly.
people, we live in apartments and we just don't
Exactly.
have the space. And she was just
But you don't need a lot of space.
Yes, she was
You
explaining
can do
to
everything
me.
in a pot. And so I
Yes.
really love the idea of being self-sufficient, self-sustaining. So how can we create? So I'd love to work with Uprooted Gardens so that we can
Yes.
create kind of like self-contained little tea gardens so that anybody,
Yes.
whether they're in an apartment, a loft, an efficiency, a house, that they can have a little tea garden with very little space required.
Most of the herbs they may, flower only once or twice a year, but the foliage usually they can use all year round for teas. Like the lavender behind you, it's not flowering right now, but they can still use all of the leaves and make sachets and things. Really your maintenance, and it'll be easy for them, is pruning and not letting it overgrow.
Okay.
Make sure everything's going right and everything's getting watered right and fertilized. That's always the big thing, is fertilize once a month. Everyone forgets about that. But other than that, the maintenance shouldn't really be that much here. There's not veggies, so there's a lot less bugs that we have to be worrying
Oh,
about.
okay.
You know, if you have a good windowsill or something like that, even if you could open the window just a bit to catch that breeze, let it ventilate, definitely you can do things like this indoors. Mint is a great one to start your green thumb. But yeah, really the key with them is just keep them moist and have just a little bit of that morning sunlight. We'll be good to go.
This is the right time of the year, right? That we could start.
Absolutely. Right now is when you want to be planting everything, veggies and herbs, fruit trees as well, fruit and nut trees. So you're in the thick of the time, I would say, until about the end of April.
Okay.
You know, before it starts getting too hot. You want to let things root and make their new home.
During this time, so when it comes to hotter days, they're already
used to it.
Okay, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they're already kind of used to where you put them. And
Yes.
because that's what, another thing here is we always like to plant in the morning or at sundown. We don't like to plant in that real hot time of the day. The roots don't really like it. Just always plant in the morning or right before the sun goes down.
You know what, that's common sense. You're totally right.
Personally, I like to do right before the sun goes down just because then it has that nighttime to kind of soak up some moisture, get used to what you just did to it.
How do you guys get, what is it, like the seeds?
Most of these herbs we got from a local independent nursery, Rainbow Gardens, on Thousand Oaks. They have 2 great locations, but really we only deal with local independent nurseries. They have the things that we want to be growing here this time of year and things that will actually grow well in our part of town.
Amigos, y esto fue todo por hoy aquí en el Jardín Japonés. Espero les haya gustado esta cápsula. Recuerden seguir Uprooted Gardens en Instagram para más tips acerca de la jardinería y los jardines comestibles. Recuerden también que ahorita en primavera es el mejor momento para iniciar tu jardín. Nos vemos hasta la próxima.